Yo, 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 what is going on, CoD Familia? It is your boy BN. Today, we are going to be giving you the results from the preliminaries qualifying round ones, which is the semifinals. And then we're going to show you the qualifying round two previews, which is going to be the finals coming up. That's going to be where we're going to get the division champs crowned. And then we're going to start working our way into playoffs. And you can see that here based on where we are, right? So playoffs are right around the corner. We got a couple days here until round two. We get a rest period. And then on October 5th is when we get playoffs round one, right? Going to be 3 rounds of playoffs. And then you'll see, right, it goes into the draw, 6 to 8, right? And then we get 3 rounds of the finals and obviously a champion announcement on December 1st. Okay, let's get into the goods here for a quick breakdown. I'm going to go speedy lickety on this. Okay, we have a quick recap or quick reintroduction here on my syllabus. Not syllabus, sorry, my legend. Purple is going to be Legendary Strife Conference. Pink is going to be Epic Strife Conference. And then this is going to be the finals preview. So WBA defeats ED. NM defeats, and if it's bold, that means that they're the winners. If it's highlighted, it means that they were any level of an underdog, right? There at least had to be more than 100 million power difference. So in this case, WBD beats out ED, NM beats out NXG, FF beats out E86, ST beats out 1. Finals preview, WBA versus NM, FF going to be going up against ST. Division 2, BTX beating out Sith, BEK beating out K95, Seam beats out WTF, Horde beats out DGN. Matchup for finals preview is going to be BTX versus BEK, Seam versus Horde. And again, I think this could be a good, decent matchup. It's close in power. Division 3, EIS beating out BPT, DK beating out MBH, MFS beating out War C, RP beating out ICE. ICE, baby. Okay. EIS versus DK is going to be the finals round preview. MFS versus RP. Division 4, 30 NA beating out OPB, WW beating out NVD, lower powered. Wind beating out HF, CFN beating out Sin. Finals preview, 30 NA versus WW. Wind going up against CFN. Division 5, Echo beating out -FU. I'm so sorry, Snowman. BTW beating out GTR. BB beating out SOE. And Luna beating out MLS. Finals preview is going to be Echo versus BTW and then BB versus Luna. Division 6. Echo's second team here beating out 1UP, AC beating out ARC W, NWN beating out BBF, and RNN beating out WOY. Finals preview is going to be Echo's second team versus AC, NWN versus RNN. Division 7. We got NTS beating out SVR, ASC beats out FRCO. LOC, lower powered, beating out Blur, but it's 0 points, so we'd have to watch it, right, to see even if they showed up or if it was just a complete stomping. Cinna versus SE, and then finals previews NTS versus ASC, and then Lock versus Cinna. And again, very close in power. I think that could be a must-watch match. Division 8, OMG beating out 30MB. SG97 beating out ERA. 88D lower powered, beating out 262. WGG beating out Tech D. Finals preview is going to be OMG versus SG97, or sorry, qualifier, right? Final. And then 88D against WGG. Close in power. I think that could be another must watch. Division 9, Rage beating out RAM. MFD beating out SW2. EXG lower power beating out LFT. GSSA losing to D282. And finals preview here is going to be Rage versus MFD's second team. EXG going up against D282. I actually also think this could be a decent match, right? Closer in power. Division 10, RAC beating out Kong. RS, lower powered, beating out DGen. Ash beating out OR. EXC, lower powered, beating out FSK's second team. Finals matchup preview is going to be RAC up against RS. Ash versus EXE. Division 11. A2G beating out OL, Mojo beating out Buns, AFK beating out REF, TWSK beating out AVO. Finals preview is A2G versus Mojo, and then we have AFK going up against TWSK. Division 12. WAO beats out Last. FWX lower powered beating out Sin B. So their second team, I think. TR beating out SHPZ. ERS beating out XSJ. And then we get to the finals preview, which is WAO versus FWX. And then we got TR going up against ERS. Division 13. EIL, which is a second team, they're beating out NWE. GRZ beating out Laws. YBD beating out BPM. NFW, NWF beating out VC. Finals preview is going to be EIL versus GRZ. And then we get YBD versus NWF. Division 14. FWY beats out WGL. VOD beats out Sin. N3 beats out KL7. Lower powered Unique beats out, or Unique, maybe they're just saying it like that, beats out NS. Finals preview matchup is going to be FWY versus VOD going up, and then we have N3 going up against Unique. Division 15. TFS beats out RK. 14BS beats out OEV. RC beats out DAU, and BD beats out AV. Finals preview is TFS versus 14BS, RC versus BD. Division 16. BNR beating out 05DK. K211 beating out Law. JPLS beating out VKNG. Lower powered Val beating out JKL. Finals preview is going to be BNR versus K211. And then we got JPLS going up against Val. Division 17. We got MFD beating out MVP. LXV beating out Baby. JRX losing to GD, but again, lower powered only by a little bit. And then we had a lower powered NWS beating out CS. Finals preview is going to be MFD versus LXV. And then we have GD versus NWS. Division 18. Apex beating out ZZZ or Sleep. And then we have Mod beating out Kin as the lower powered alliance. Then we have WER beating out IWV and LOM or LOM beating out THS. Finals preview is going to be Apex versus Mod. And then we are, or WE, squiggly are beating out LOM. Or fighting, I should say, battling LOM. Division 19. We got 3-3 lower powered beating out TDC. CFRA lower powered beating out BOM. SHPZ beating out PUTO. WOV lower powered beating out 50W. Finals matchup 3-3 versus SHPZ. CFRA versus WOV. Division 20. We got SCL lower powered beating out X. SEAL beating out BXS. LD beating out EVA. Myth lower powered beating out TOC. Then we get the finals matchup, which is SLC versus SEAL. LD versus Myth. Division 21. Here we have, where am I going? SNIX, lower power beating out BTR. VKG beating out HOF. ASI beating out MAD. AG beating out AO. Finals preview here is SNIX versus VKG. This could actually be the first legendary qualifier matchup that's a little bit closer in power and could be argued for maybe a little bit more of a must-watch. ASI going up against AG, and then Division 22, we got Echo's third team going up against LMG's second team, beat the second team, LPG defeating PX, CLGT defeating 404, and POD1 beating out Max, which I think that's their second team for POD1. So finals here is going to be Echo third team versus LPG, CLGT versus Pod second team. Then let's get to Division 23, DYH defeating DTF second team, IWG losing to Pod. INWA 4, which might be their second team, defeating Crush or CRSH. WB beating out DOU. Finals preview DYH versus Pod. INWA 4 versus WB. Now we get to Division 24. We have AVIC, lower powered, beating out FSK's first team. Bear defeating Gray. Rage, which I think is the second team, if they're from the same place, defeating A547. Unit beating out DEA. And finals preview looks like AVIC versus Bear and Rage versus Unit. Division 25. We have Squiggly Eyes beating out EXG. HD, lower powered, beating out HE, even if it's only by a little. Ego beating out BRY. War defeating DNM. Finals preview is going to be Squiggly Eyes versus HD. Ego versus War. Division 26. YSS beating out UOU. IR defeating Wick. FA defeating War, and KOV defeating OOC. Finals preview here is YSS versus IR, and FA equals, which I think is equals FA equals. It just for some reason only did the equals on the beginning, going up against KOV. Division 27. We got NTW lower power defeating S2AK, BHF lower power defeating HP, HTF beating out GSS, Best beating out TMDB. Finals preview, NTW versus BHF, and then we have HTF versus Best in the Epic Conference. Division 28, ROG defeating NF57, Wolf defeating 30NC, which I think is their third team. VP22 defeating NCB, Go defeating TGV. Finals preview here is going to be ROG versus Wolf. And then for Epic, VP22 versus Go. Let's look at Division 29. For Legendary Conference, we got 21SW lower powered defeating I, which, wait, isn't I Tiny's team? I need to go watch that match, man. That actually was pretty close. GDW defeating LV. We got 5 Pud, which is, I guess, supposed to be Spud, defeating MH2. NXSC defeating K502. Matchup here for finals is going to be 21SW versus GD, 5 Pud versus NXSC. Division 30. 3 more to go here. 25IL defeats GG. Lion defeating RP. We have PB defeating SSL. Suns defeating GF. Finals preview 25IL versus Lion. PB versus Suns. Division 31. We got NTA defeating FA. Sura defeating GPX. Swag defeating PP. Brew defeating Alti. Finals preview is going to be NTA versus Sura. And then we got Swag versus Brew. Division 32. NXW defeats GCS. FG defeats RGU. HIP, lower powered, defeats SIP, which, now that I think about it, maybe that was planned. FTS, so a lot of familiarity there. FTS defeats EXG. Finals preview here is going to be NXW versus FG, which again, this could actually be the second maybe legendary match to potentially watch, and then HIP versus FTS. That rounds us out for everything that we got. Oh yes, and if it says red here, that just means that like the matchup was pretty close, right? There was about 5K points here that separates. This one here I think was 6K. No, sorry, about 5K as well, a little bit more. So anything that's in red is like a 5K point or less match. So that's kind of where I was trying to go for, just because I felt like, oh, these could be ones to maybe watch. I don't know if I would want to go watch like raffle stomps. I'd rather watch like close matchups. It's just me. But yeah, let me know. Are you shocked? Are you surprised by any wins, any upsets, how the finals are shaping up so far? Let us know. Anything and everything there in the comments down below. That's going to be it for me. As always, until next time, we'll catch you later.